Yes. Mm-mm-mm. Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Living Day by Day show. I tell you, we have an incredible show that is slated just for you. Picked out, guys, just for you. We want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for tuning in to the Living Day by Day show. I am your host, Lakiba Wallace, and alongside the other host is none other than celebrity comedian E-Love Jordan is in the building, in the Zoom room, right?
Yeah, we're in the Zoom.
We in the Zoom room, so we are definitely we are excited about today's show. It's going to be an amazing show. I tell you, we went way down to get this guest to be a part of the Living Day by Day show. You are going to be in for an incredible treat. But first, I want to take this opportunity in the first half of the Living Day by Day show to encourage you, to take an opportunity to tell you, no matter what you are going through, I want you to keep your mind stayed on God. I want you to be so confident that God is able to do all things, that there's nothing that is going to be able to shake you. There is nothing that is going to be able to move you. There is nothing that will get you off track in this season, because the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings, he has a special. He has a super. He has an anointing. He has a super special anointed gift just for you. He has a way out just for you. He has a way up just for you. I don't care what your coworkers might be saying. I don't care what your family might be saying. I don't care what the naysayers are saying, because the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings, he is on your side. And when the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings is on your side, there's nothing that nobody can do. There's nothing that anybody can do that can stop the hand of God. So in this season, I want to encourage you that the Lord of Lords is going to bring down an incredible blessing just for you. All right, guys, that was our motivational moment. Now we are about to get into some crazy stuff. And I say crazy because we never know. I never know. I never know what the hot topics are going to be about. All I know is that they're hot. That's all I know. So without further ado, it brings me great pleasure to introduce to all the listeners and the viewers of the Living Day by Day show our segment entitled Hot Topics, brought to you by none other than celebrity comedian Eric E-Love Jordan.
What's up, everybody? So, Hot Topics.
Help him, God. Help him, God.
Okay, so they brought to you by Sweet Sweat. If you want to lose weight, put this on your stomach and then put the little belt around you. It helps you lose weight. I'm going to let you know now, Lakiba, I endorse this for real because I was weighing a size, I ain't scared to say it, because of the quarantine. Well, before that, I was wearing this too. But because of the quarantine, my size waist was between a 40 and 38. All right, yes, that's very large and a big belly. But because I was doing the Sweet Sweat and I was doing this right here, guess what my waist is now?
Tell it. Come on, spill the beans.
I am back at a 36.
Wow.
It basically just drained all the sweat out of you, and me and my kids have been walking, and so we've been walking each day, make sure I drink water, and that allowed that to take place. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, so shout out to Sweet Sweat. Man, it just helps you burn off the extra water weight that's on your body and stuff.
Wait, can I say something before you don't?
Yeah.
I'm going to go on my secular side. I thought that was, I said, is that a blunt?
No.
Oh, my God. I had to Lord help me, God. I don't know what's happening right now. Wait.
No, it's not a blunt. Well, that would help you lose weight too. I guess. I don't know. I'm not a smoker. So all my smokers out there come in and let me know. I don't know.
Right.
I know crack would help you lose weight. But I don't know about blunt would help you do that.
I'm not a smoker, but I have been around some smokers, and that looked familiar. I said, wait.
That just make you hungry. Oh, you thought this was like a swishy sweet?
Yes. I said, wait a minute.
I do a little something. My parents are middle class. I'm hood. I'm hood. I ain't got no money like them. My baby's middle class. I'm from the streets. I know a little bit of something.
Well,
yeah, these
come
are
through.
that's sweet. No, that's
Right.
not sweet. Okay, no.
Said,
That's not how you roll up the paper.
Right. Where's this about to go, Lord? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like Cat Williams, like Cat Williams said, I don't know how it's done. I'm just saying that's what they say.
God. It was looking a little scary there for a moment.
Yeah, come on, I'm crazy, but ain't that crazy? I would think if I was gonna pull a blunt out on a Christian show, I would have told you. I would say,
right. Let me know something before you pull it out.
Exactly. I would say, yeah, I'm gonna keep it PG. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
all right. Now, so the first hot topic. Okay. This kudos and shout out to Kenya Mitchell. Kenya Mitchell, who's 22, because she wanted to change the definition to the word racism in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. So she said they need to add this part to it: systemic racism, because that wasn't a part of the definition of racism. And so she wanted to put on there the word systemic. So shout out to her. She's 22. And the whole thing says, Kenya Mitchell, 22, says the dictionary definition needs to be expanded to include systemic racism. And the dictionary editors agreed. So bam. So if you look at the word racism, it's going to have systemic racism on there. And then also the Attorney General or for Code 45 said there's no such thing as systemic racism. I was like, yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, like, shut up.
No, it's like, it's facts. I mean, I'm not nothing against white people, but I'm just saying, if me and a white person had the same job, it's just proving that they make more than an African American. They're just given. You got some actors, and an actress, I can't remember her name, she talked about this. She said, I have a Tony, I have an Emmy. I have all the things these other, like Meryl Streep, all of them have a comment. My stuff is just like that, but I don't get paid the amount of money they get paid.
Yeah, that was Viola. I heard that too.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a systemic, that's called systemic racism right there.
And it's true.
If that wasn't the case, then everybody be getting the same.
Absolutely. It's true. We don't really want to talk about it a lot, but it is true. It is definitely so true. What else you got, E? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So, man, in the news, they were showing that, people just keep pulling guns out on Black Americans. I guess that's, they realize we can film stuff now, and a woman, we're going to go ahead and call her Karen, because the reason I'm calling her Karen, you'll see why my third story.
Is Karen crazy? Yeah,
Karen's crazy. She pulls a gun on this woman and was like telling her to back up. But the woman was like, you gonna shoot me? And I was always told, if you're gonna pull a gun out, you only pull a gun out unless you're finna use it. Correct. You only pull it out unless you're fearing for your life. The other lady didn't have a gun. She was gonna beat the brakes off of her. And so she got scared and pulled a gun. And then her husband pulled out a gun. But if you want to go to my video, you can see the whole video of it transpired. It doesn't have the end results, but someone reached out to me and told me the lady did get arrested for pulling that gun out. Absolutely. So, yeah, good job that people are starting to film things, showing these things, and, we're just not going to stand for people doing situations, doing things like that. So I'm glad that ended in a different direction. I've seen cases where it has not gone that way. So I'm glad the lady was okay. They got a license plate. I know the woman got arrested. I don't know the husband got arrested. I didn't see the video. From the very, very, very beginning, basically, the lady said, you was about to hit me with your car. And the lady pulled out, and they showed her with the gun, literally, like this close to her. Like, right up there. I can see the barrel of the gun. So if you want to see the video, it's on my Instagram, which is my name over there, Eric E. Love Jordan, comedian Eric E. Love Jordan. Go on there, and you can see it. Now, to my next topic. The reason I said this, Karen, there's a post that says, will people stop using the word Karen because it's equivalent to the N-word?
What?
Yes. I can't make this stuff up. They're saying that Karen now is equivalent to N-word. Okay, we've only been doing Karen for a couple of months now.
Right.
It's only been around for 400 years, and y'all Y'all just a plane over a couple months?
My God. You on mute, E. He done muted himself. I don't know why. You on mute, E. You on mute, Eric E. Love Jordan. You on mute.
Huh?
Okay, I can hear you now. You was on mute for about 20 seconds there.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Well, someone that if someone's been acting Karenish, explain. I just want to raise your hand if you ever been sold to slavery. Okay, raise your hand if anyone's ever tried to lynch a Karen. Okay, raise your hand if your ancestors got slaved off and they use that name as a derogatory term, and it ain't nothing against you ain't did nothing wrong. Okay, thank you. I rest my case.
Right. So yeah, you proved your point. Right.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's just ridiculous. So yes, we gonna keep using Karen. We can say Angela. You want to say, and that's a black name. You want to say Becky?
Help us, God.
I mean, okay, you know what? We'll stop saying Karen if y'all stop naming all these tornadoes after African American women.
Stop, Lord. This is sliding. This is sliding left, Lord. This is sliding left. Oh.
Bertha's gonna be tearing up Louisiana. Bertha don't drop another one on Louisiana.
Lord, those hot topics were.
Hurricane LaQuisha is coming through.
We don't want LaQuisha because LaQuisha gonna tear it up.
You know it. So we'll stop saying Karen. But y'all stop calling all these. Why can't a hurricane be Becky? Why a hurricane can't be a Bill?
Help us, God. And so the hot topics was brought to everybody by because we sliding left.
Sweat.
Okay.
You lose that weight you need. Come on, sweet sweat. I need an endorsement. I'll put that thing up here now. And Lakeith thought it was a swishy sweet. So maybe y'all need to do a swishy sweet sweat.
Well, that is a great ending to our hot topics, guys. And if you're out there, get healthy. Whatever you do, get healthy. I don't care if you could be unhealthy at 140 pounds. You don't have to be 200 and 300, 400 pounds to be unhealthy. People, equate being unhealthy to being overweight. That's, you don't want to be overweight, but I'm just saying you could be out there and be a buck 140 and still be unhealthy. So we just want you to make sure that you get your health in order. Well, guys, that brings us to the end of our first segment. Now we are going into our guest appearance. We have the opportunity, guys, tonight to be interviewing an amazing group. They're going to be coming into the Zoom room just about right now. Hey, how are you?
Good, how's it going?
Good.
He like he about to sing and perform. You about to perform for us? He changed my clothes. He got the necklace on. He's like he about to ready to perform.
So you ready, right?
I'm ready for the interview.
He said, we did. He looked to his left and said, "You said I was gonna perform, bitch."
Nobody told me about that. You said to talk to me, not for me to get up on here and sing. Let's clear it up, right?
That's right.
Okay, so you're not doing this alone. So I know you have another person. Let me see who this is in the Zoom room right here. I don't know. Let's see.
I know he was on a little earlier, so he should be coming on. Oh, here he is.
There he is. Hey there.
All right.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the opportunity to be a guest on the Living Day by Day show. We are super duper excited that you have stopped by the show today. And I want you to take the opportunity to tell all the listeners and the viewers of the Living Day by Day show who Last Call is.
All right. Hello, my name is Adrian.
And I'm Chakray.
And together we are known as Last Call. We hail from the lovely island of Bermuda. Last Call is a gospel duo. We've been in effect close to 5 years. It'll be 5 years in August. You may or may not know us by our single or our hit single, Victory, which was also in collaboration with Fred Jerkins of Dark Child Gospel. There's a whole lot of other music to our name, and hopefully after this interview, you would want to go check it out. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know, how did you come up with, the name Last Call? Names of groups and names of books and different things and songs and things along those lines always have some level of significance to it, or some meaning, or some thought behind it, or some, story behind it. So talk to us a little bit about how'd you come up with the name Last Call?
Well, ours certainly is a story. We actually had a few other options before, but it just didn't work out. One of the options that we really wanted, I realized that a pastor friend of mine, his church was named that, so we didn't want to seem like we were copying. So I guess one evening we were eating sushi. We love sushi, by the way.
Sushi.
Yes, love sushi. Yeah. So Adrian had went to the bathroom. I don't know what he was doing in the bathroom, but nonetheless, the Lord must have spoke to him while he was
Oh my
there.
God.
And when and when he came back to the table, he just looks at me and he's like, he looks at me and he says, "Last call." And I look back at him and say, "Last call." And then together we said "Last call," and we knew that was what the name was to be. And then shortly right there afterwards, God gave us the revelation behind the name. Of course, we know last call symbolizes, the last call at the bar and different things. It may have a secular connotation, but we know we're taking it back and claiming it for the kingdom, because God showed us that we're living in the last days. And the duo, yes, we do music and we lead worship, but it's more than just Adrian and I. It's a movement, and we believe that movement is last call. And basically it's us giving that clarion call to people that may not be believers. These are the last days. It's time to get serious. It's time to really fight for Jesus. It's time to stand up for what we believe in. And in a sense, I believe that this is the last call. The world may not be around for too many more years. We don't know when the Lord will crack the skies and return for his people. And we do believe we're living in the last days. And so we're just a part of that movement.
Man, okay. Well, look, you took my question, because when I heard the group was called The Last Call, I was like, oh, man, how many jokes I can make with this one? But I'll refrain. But my question for you, I'm glad you said how does it feel? Does that play a role in your music, as far as like your culture, where you're from? How does that play a part of the music in the music you present?
I don't know why you're echoing a little bit there. Is it coming off a little kind of echo? Are you guys hearing that as well?
On my screen.
Yeah, it's like you're freezing up a little bit, E.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
yes,
it's
that's much better.
Okay, sorry. So my question was, how does your culture, where you're from Bermuda, how does that play a part in the music and what you do?
I think because we were born in Bermuda and we are Bermudians, and we've been islanders our whole life, naturally that's on the inside of us. So anything that we do, think, or say is going to come from that perspective. So it's almost impossible to get away from that upbringing, or getting away from those principles, or just getting away from being an islander, period, because it's just who we are. There have been enough times where people have listened to some songs that we've done. One in particular is I Got My Freedom. And this song, to us, we don't hear any island of anything in this song, I Got My Freedom. However, on numerous occasions, people have said, oh, I can hear the island flavor in there. I can hear this, that. And we're just like, I don't know what you're listening to. But and I think that kind of put it in perspective for us, is that we were born and raised and groomed, and our maturing even happened here. So that is just the essence of who we are and what we hosted on the inside. So whatever we put our hands on, it's going to have that. Even if we don't notice it, I'm sure you'll be able to pick it up.
Well, yes, because you both sound like you're from England, listening to your voices. And okay, where's the Bermuda? They sound like they're from England. And I know you said, man, he sounds country. I don't know what. Yeah, I'm the country.
Yeah.
Shout out to Georgia.
Yeah, we're an overseas territory of Britain, so I think that might be where you heard the, you know, the accent too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is your inspiration behind your music? I mean, where do you draw your inspiration on the music that you write and the things that you say?
Honestly, we draw it from everywhere. Of course, life stories, you know, life testimony, what we go through. And mainly, though, the cornerstone of most of our writing is basically centered around the relationship that we have with God. So, you know, we just released a new single called No Greater Love. And that was through us reflecting on how much He loves us. You know, we can stray far away from Him. We can do the worst, most heinous of a sin or crime, yet God still can love us beyond that. And so, you know, songs like that, that's how that was birthed out of, you know, that kind of space. A lot of times we're in a space of worship or we're reading our word, and that's when God will drop a line or a chorus or even just a chord progression in our spirits. And usually we just birth it from that place.
And it's very interesting because anytime we have an artist that's on here, I love to ask and see, you know, because I can tell just listening to you both that you're living and you're walking in your purpose. You know, because you say music, this is what you want to do. But my question to you, anyone that wants to do music, can you give us one piece of advice for anyone that wants to do music that they need to do to get started?
To get started, I think the most important thing is being authentic to who God created you to be. A lot of times we come up in the music industry and we see different artists that we like to listen to, or we like their style, or we like their approach. And it's always good to take from them as well. You know, it's good to take, you know, whether it be you like how they dress, or you like how they carry themselves, or sometimes you like the style of music that they do. However, God has put something specific in each and every vessel in the earth. There's a gift that is special and unique to each and every person. And if we're not the ones being authentic to ourselves, then that gift is missing in the earth. And so we're robbing the earth of what God wants to give to the earth. And so it's very important for us to authentically be who God created us to be. If not, there will be a void, you know? And so I think it's very important for people not to lose their way. Like I said, it's good to look to other people. It's good to like what they do. It's good to listen to their music and even take some things and add it to what you do, but know who God has called you to be and be that person to the best of your ability through Him.
Wow, that's amazing. That's definitely amazing. I want to ask this question. So you have the relationship and the connection with Fred Jerkins. Talk a little bit about how did that start? And when you first got the call or the email or whatever, what did you feel? You know, because most people are like, oh my God, you know, because he's a major, you know, he's a major person in the industry doing incredible things. And to have that connection is definitely a blessing from God.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll try to make the story as short as possible, but it's probably started with, and I like to start right from the beginning so that people can see that it was a journey of faith. It was a journey of us believing that we were truly called to do this, and God blessed us every step of the way. So Adrian and I started 5 years ago in his living room at his grandmother's house. We were talking about ministry, and we decided, we're going to do this thing together. Well, if we do, we're going to do it for real. Now here we have two guys from Bermuda, no contacts, no money, no anything, just like, let's just do this thing called Last Call. And so the following year, we called up a few friends that we knew and recorded our first album independently. And then, we came back home to Bermuda, and we were singing around different concerts. We got pretty popular here in Bermuda, and Dietrich Haddon was coming to Bermuda. So the promoters asked us to open for him. And so, of course, with Dietrich Haddon comes Apostle Vera Howard, because that's who she managed. So we were able to slip her album, and I think the next day she preached at Adrian's church. So, I think they might have talked a little bit or not. I can't remember. But, a whole year had passed, and we actually decided to go on our own tour that we just called, because we both went to school in the States. So any churches, little tiny churches that we have went to, we called them up and said, we're coming by, can we come sing at your church? We just tried everything. So we end up singing at my church in Orlando, because I went to school in Orlando. And this guy by the name of Prophet Antonio Barros was in the audience, and he loved us. So he said, I'm going to connect you with my buddy Arvetra, because he's having a conference. And so he did that. You know, he was the first person to actually follow through with what he says, because a lot of people make promises in this industry and they don't
Right.
follow through with what they say. So I guess Apostle Verl must have seen the flyer of that we were participating in his annual conference. And she hit us up on Facebook like, hey, do you guys remember me? I saw you that you're singing at my friend Vetch's event. And we were actually on our way to Ohio to visit Adrian's school church the church that he was leading worship out there. So we were like, oh, look at this. So we were at Chick-fil-A and had this long meeting. Long story short, she gave us a proposal that, you know, if we put on a huge event in Bermuda, she can invite some label executives down. And we just said, by faith, we did it. So we got our friends, our family, church people, and we raised like, I think over $14,000 to be able to do this.
Wow.
And so we had a huge conference. We brought down 3 executives. One of them included Fred Jerkins. And 2 weeks before the concert, you know, we're getting nervous, and we're like, this is it. You know, this is our chance. Labels in the house. We got to do this. And let me say that the concert initially was to raise funds for people battling with cancer. So we did do that, and all proceeds went to them. But the secondary part of it was this. And so we sang the song Victory. We only wrote it 2 weeks before the concert, but Adrian felt in his spirit that we should really do it. And I'm like, who does a new song at the label? We want to do popular songs so everyone's singing. It looks good for the label. You know. And so we felt it in our spirit. So, you know, we tried it. And this is the first time we ever sung Victory. And I'm telling you, that was the song of the night. Like, the audience just exploded. You know, the song's about 4 minutes, but it ended up being 10 minutes. We saw all of the label guys with their phones up recording it. And then the very next day, Fred approached Apostle and us at the hotel and was like, listen, I have a compilation album coming out that's also benefiting cancer, and I would love this song to be a part of it. And so that kind of was the beginning of the relationship. And then I think 3 weeks later, we flew to Atlanta to record the song Victory. And then I think when he was talking to his father and a bunch of other people, they decided that that should be the next single. And so he made it the next single of his album, and it went to #1 on all 3 charts. So then after that, we got signed.
Well,
Yeah.
Adrian, thank God you listened to God, bro. I don't know if y'all picked a Super Rock on there, but I know your partner was like, I don't know. You're like, man, God said. Okay. But if y'all had to listen to God, I don't know if y'all be sitting here saying y'all got dark child, do y'all?
Right.
So I know that was a long story, but that's I like to tell it because it just shows that anyone can start from anywhere, and God will, if God has his hand on you, he will order your steps.
That's right.
I love that. I really do. And that brings me to my next question. Like, you know, how did the two of you come together? You know, it's difficult sometimes to be in sync with someone because you might want to sing this, they might want to sing something else. You have a vision to go this way. The other person might have a vision to go the other way. So it really takes a lot of prayer and a lot of talking to God to be able to come together, you know, as a group to ensure that you still have, there's 2 people, but you have 1 mission.
Yeah. So we basically met in about 2009 through mutual friends. There was a youth conference going on and my praise team was singing. And I think I might have been leading a song or something like that. Chakray actually came with the mutual friends and we met that day. Our relationship just grew organically. We became friends then. A few years later, we ended up being in a play together here in Bermuda. And we started to sing a song, Holiness by Micah Stampley, which actually became a staple song before Last Call was anything, years back. And so that was a favorite, and we got some invitations around the island to do that. I think after that, were you back from school then, Chakray?
Yeah, but then I think I left to go to lead worship at Faith World. Yeah.
So basically, Chakray went out to Florida to become a worship pastor, and I went out to school in Columbus, Ohio. And so eventually our paths collided back in Bermuda. God sent us back to Bermuda. I think both of us were a bit reluctant to go back because we were doing so well where we were. However, we just had to obey the Spirit of the Lord. We went back to Bermuda, and that's where we became closer. Our friendship grew a bit more. And there was the same mutual friend had a concert that she was doing. And so we were doing background vocals for her. So one night, Chakray and I, after that concert, we went back to my house in my grandmother's living room. And that's where we had the conversation that Chakray talked about where we sat down and God deposited that to Chakray. Chakray put that on the table, and we decided to fast and pray about it and talk to leadership about becoming the duo. And so that's how that happened. And I think how it goes with us navigating in Last Call and working together, it's simply knowing that we are both good on our own, knowing the credibility of what we bring to the table. Chakray is a fantastic writer, and I hope he would say the same about me. We both have our strengths, and we both have our weaknesses. And so whatever we know that our strengths are, we usually put each other on those things, and we will just come together collectively and do it. Obviously, we're individuals, and sometimes we have different tastes. However, it always works good. What can I say? We're a good team. We're a good team, and following the Holy Spirit, we can't go wrong. As long as we stick with the Holy Spirit, He will lead us in the right direction. And I think that's what we do with everything.
Amen.
Awesome. That's amazing. So there are a lot of artists out there who don't make it to where you are now, or they have not yet made it there. And so talk a little bit about, to encourage someone, what were some of the pain points that you had to, some of the hurdles that you had to jump in order to get where you are today?
It's the big steps. It's the, as you just said, the hurdles, as the jumps. You know, you have to take leaps of faith. You have to, if you believe that God has called you to this, there's going to be a point where you have to do something big. And our big thing was definitely, our first, big thing was going out to record the album. We actually got a bank loan, and do you mind me sharing, Adrian? Yeah, we're teaching people. So the loan was for $40,000. Like, we went and, and we just said, we're going by faith. We want this album to be of high quality. And as you guys know who are in the industry, recording is not cheap, especially when you deal with bigger names and bigger studios. We said, we're going to go for it. And so we went and took out a bank loan for $40,000, which we're still paying off to this day, every month. But that was the first big step of faith. And I think when you make moves like that, God honors it, because He's like, whoa, you guys are going to really do that? How many people would really, do that? They would go and say, I'm going to take out a personal loan to record God's music, and then after that, we did everything. We've done bake sales, you guys, to raise funds. I remember once we was singing on probably for about 5 hours out, selling baked goods just to raise funds to go to the event where Apostle Varel saw us, on the flyer. Like, we did it all. We've done bake sales. I mean, we've done so many. We still do free events, to this day. Potlucks. Yeah, we did a big, huge potluck. And then when we ran out of more money, we just decided to write letters and send it out to like 100 friends and family. And that's when we was able to raise $14,000. So you have to really humble yourself and go for it. And I think when God sees you making the best effort that you possibly can, He will be a reward. The Bible says that He's a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. And I believe that we were diligently seeking Him in our purpose. So.
Nice. And are there any artists that you really, really want to be able to work with? Are there any artists out there right now that you really want to work with?
Most definitely. I think Chakray and I can both agree that, I don't know if you got, well, you should know, you probably know him. Torrin Wells. He's more on the CCM side. I think he would be a good fit for us, and I think it would be a nice crossover for us for the CCM side as well. Me personally, I would like to work with the big artists, which he is big, but I'm thinking like the legends like Kirk Franklin. I would love for someone like Ty Tribbett. I love his energy, and we have a high energy presence as well. So I think we could just all bounce around the stage at the same time together.
Right.
That was an awesome experience, and he has such a creative head. And so we definitely like his approach. I'll let Chakray take some as well.
Yeah, I think for me, same thing. I like For King and Country. It's another CCM band. And then of course, we would love to do something with Mary Mary. I think duo, seems like it'll work. So, yeah.
I love it. And my other question is that, have any other people I know came to you, you see videos of people going up to artists saying, here's my mixtape. Oh man, I need to sing. Has anyone ever came up to you and just bust out singing to show you that they can sing? Like, they saw you performing and they're like, man, this is our shot. They're artists. We can sing too.
He
let me
got
show
a
you what we
story.
got.
So I don't know if Jaquay wants to go after me. There have, I mean, for every like 1 in 5, I feel like 1 in 5 events that we do, there's going to be at least one mixtape that comes. One thing that I like to do, I like to listen to them. I do, and so if we leave the venue, I would usually take it out of my pocket or my bag, wherever I put it. I'll pop it in the car that we rented or whatever, and just listen to it. And sometimes it's like, oh, this is nice, and sometimes it's like, you right? So it can be really fun. There was one time we were actually in New York, and I believe we were just walking and we were shopping, and this is kind of funny. There were two ladies there, and I think, well, I'm pretty sure one of them recognized us, and so she hit the other lady with us, and she's like, that's them. And so I'm telling Jaquay, like, are you seeing this type of thing? And so they're looking. So basically, we walk out of the shop, we go on the sidewalk, and we're waiting at the pedestrian for the walking sign to go. And so the one who noticed us actually came kind of in front of us, kind of acting like she didn't see us, and told the other girl to take a picture. And we're the backdrop in the background. And she struck a pose. And we're looking like, in my mind, I'm like, you could have just asked. You could have just asked. Yeah. But here in Bermuda, there's sometimes if people know that we sing, we might be in line and you might hear them just hum a little bit or start to sing randomly, things like that. But I love it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I think people just have to understand, like as artists, there isn't really a whole lot that we can do. I mean, we appreciate you giving us your music, but I mean, the people who you see to the right of me, that's who you want to give it to. They're the ones that can probably help you a little bit more than even us, because
right.
they play our music and they, that's who you want to try to get it to. As artists, I mean, I'm just being honest. If I have a choice to give a person my music or yours, who am I gonna give?
You better be authentic.
But thank you. I'm just being, yeah. So you
So
want to impress radio.
I guess I don't need to sing then.
Oh.
I was gonna audition for y'all.
Yeah.
So in other words, Lakiba, you're gonna be getting a lot of music after this.
Right.
I'm gonna let you know right now. If I gave you a mixtape, I'll be the one that you look and you be like,
No.
Yeah.
I'm no singers when I know Jesus came in the room, because I can harmonize with everybody. That's when I know Jesus came in the room. The ones who can't sing, we all together, and you have your music, and you stop all the music, and everybody's voices are singing. And I sound good. I'm like, oh my God, I can record something. I'm like, I take home and go there. My family look at me like, will you please stop singing? You don't gotta sing. God did not give you that gift.
That's funny.
Well,
that actually is my next question. When did you know that that you got this musical gift of music? When did you know, and you like, hey, I can really make this happen? I know you both sat down together and said, as a group, you were gonna sing together. Right. But when did you personally yourself say, you know what, I'm really good at this?
Great question.
For me, it would have been when I was in high school. I wanted to be like a lawyer, doctor, all that kind of stuff before. But it wasn't until the age of 16 that I really believed that I had a gift and that God can actually take me from Bermuda around the world. And so it was probably around the age of 16 in high school. That's when I was like, you know what? I think I had something that I can work with. And then once I went to Orlando, I went to school to Full Sail University. And then while I was there, I went to a church called Faith World. And I joined the choir. And then the pastor allowed me to travel with him to sing. And then I sang, in the praise team. And then I traveled with the worship leader. So I guess through those experiences, I really, really knew that, I did have something. If they selected me to sing solos, then I must have something to work with. But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. For me, the first time that I knew that I had a gift or that I had something that was, I guess, that stood out from the other singers that I was about probably I'd say about 6 or 7 years old. This was during a choir. Well, there was a collaboration of summer day camps here in Bermuda. All the government camps get together every summer. They used to get together every summer and did something called Camporama. And so at Camporama, everybody will come and perform, and they'll do gymnastics or they'll dance, or there's a choir. And so we had a choir rehearsal, and the choir director, must have picked my voice out while we were singing, pulled me to the side and said, listen, there's a solo to the song. You have a really good voice. Would you like to sing the solo? And at that point, all I did was sing around the house. I didn't, I know my family liked to hear me and watch me, but to hear from somebody else, an adult that picked me out of a pool of maybe over 100 children, it was a huge choir. That's when I kind of knew that something was different with me. And so from that point, I just continued to sing throughout elementary school, middle school, high school, and every school that I went in, I was just always selected to do something. And so I guess for me, knowing that I was consistently getting the attention to lead a song or to do a solo, or whatever the case was, I kind of knew that was probably something that I wanted to do. And so I always pursued it. I always pursued it from that point.
Awesome. So what would be one advice that you would give to an aspiring artist out there? They haven't made it yet. They keep on plugging. They keep on trying. How would you encourage them to not give up?
The first thing that I would say is make sure you talk to your leadership. Make sure you're connected to a church, make sure you're connected to ministry of some sort apart from your personal ministry, i.e. join a choir, join a praise team, join a church, a great Bible teaching church, and someone where you can submit your giftings under and talk to them and make sure that you're called. I mean, before Adrian and I did this and decided to do Last Call, both of us went to our own pastors and cleared it with them first to see that if their spirit agreed with it. I think God loves decency and order. So that would be the first thing that I would tell someone. And then, like Adrian said earlier, be authentic. And like we were saying before, set your goals and go for them. I mean, if that means you got to ask, 1,000 people for $5 each, something, you got to do what you got to do to fund your ministry, and go to conferences, go to workshops and seminars, raise funds and try to do it, and then connect with the music scene. I know when I was at Full Sail, they said, what you want to do is you want to take over, I hate to say take over, but you want to really become well known in your city first, or your town, and then move out to the bigger city. And then, you guys live in the States, so the state, and then the neighboring state, and then the neighboring state to that. And then eventually, so if you target that and grow and grow and grow, you'll be able to do that, small baby steps. And along the way, people will recognize you. If you're good at what you do, if you're authentic, if you love the Lord, and if it's truly His will, He would order your steps.
Awesome. Adrian?
Yeah. So I'm going to say something that was said to us that I think really helped us, and that's always being present. So whatever event you're in, and when it was said to us, it's kind of funny, and some people might kind of laugh at it, but it really did help. Whenever you go to an event, try to take pictures with people. Or if somebody's taking a picture, try to be in the background so that your face is kind of there.
Right.
Make yourself known, and seriously, and make yourself known at these events, because the next one, if there's anybody that was at the next one, at least they can look, even if you don't speak to them, they can look over and say, doesn't he look familiar? And then by the time you get to the third one, you might have a conversation with somebody who says, hey, and you have something to talk about, something to connect with. But being present in the industry is very important for an up and coming artist. Consistency is a very important tool that you need to have, and that lets other people know in the industry that you're serious. The more you show up, the more you're seen, the more you apply yourself, the more you keep striving, the more you keep pushing. Somebody's watching. And if they continually see you, they're going to know that you are serious about what you're doing. So consistency is key. Getting those pictures, make those conversations, even if the picture's not of you, just try to photobomb it a little bit, walk in the back. When they look back, I'm telling you, when they look back at the picture, they'll be like, this guy from the last event.
Right.
And believe me, we have done it. We have done it. And so, be present, because
right, and just to add on to that, so the events is talking about would be like the Stellar Awards. Anyone can go to that. The Dove Awards, buy a ticket and go. Different conferences, live recordings. If you hear your favorite artist having a live recording, go. All of that. The new artist showcases and all that. Try to get in on that, because, like you said, people will recognize you. Our second Stellar Awards, we were assigned to Apostle Verbal, but we wore Bermuda shorts, like the traditional Bermuda shorts. They're pink, like bright pink. And mine's, I think, were bright yellow, and we had blazers. I mean, the next year, Donald Lawrence remembered us. Like, especially radio host.
Rick Dillard.
No, Ricky Dilla, but no, more. Atlanta. What's his name? The
Willie
radio
Moore?
station guy.
Willie Moore.
Willie
Oh,
Moore,
Willie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Willie
Oh,
Moore.
yeah, Willie
So
Moore,
he
yeah.
distinctly remembered us because he was like, "You guys are the ones with the shorts." So you got to do what you got to do, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. And last question before we let you guys go, and either one of you can answer, but tell us what's next for last call.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for Last Call? There is an album that we are preparing for. Thanks to COVID, we've had to push back the release date a bit. However, we're still actively writing. We're still sending material to the record company to get approved. And so we're just getting ready. We're kind of waiting in the wings, but as we're waiting in the wings, we're still writing. We're really excited about this new album. It's been a few years now since our last album. We've had 3 singles since the album. And so we can't wait to get a full project out. I mean, we're really excited. And so that's one of the things. Also, we want, once it's safe for us to come back to the States, we want to come and do a radio promo tour as well. We were gearing up to do that before everything locked down for COVID. So we're going to come back out there and do a little bit more traveling and touring. We really missed that. We've been locked in our houses for a few months. We've been locked down on the island since January. Our last event was actually a New Year's event in DC. We came back and we haven't seen the state since, unless we look at a map. So, yeah, so we're really itching to get out there and minister a bit more. There's more souls that need to be reached, and so we want to get across the borders.
Awesome. And so how can people get in contact with you?
Everywhere at Last Call Worship, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Last Call Worship. You can visit our website, www.lastcallworship.com. And you can also check out our music everywhere where digital music is. So if you type in Last Call Victory or Last Call No Greater Love or Last Call 10,000, we will be there.
Awesome.
And next time y'all come on, I'm gonna prepare a song so I can sing, so I can be judged.
Give us a mixtape.
I can't wait.
I'm gonna sing a little bit.
All right, that wasn't too bad.
You heard that, Lakeem? He said it wasn't too bad.
Right.
He said it sucked. He's honest, but he said not too bad. And Adrian did go, So I mean, you know what? I could be that. I could be that third member and be the background. You know, you always gotta have that one that go like this for y'all. Leave my mic off. You gotta turn my mic off and dim the lights down. But I'll wear the Bermuda shorts. Bam! I'll just be like this, and then I just get a couple pictures.
Silly. You know what? The comedian always come out no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by the Living Day by Day show. Know that right here in Atlanta, we support you, and we are looking forward to just seeing God take you to higher heights. Continue to let God use you. I promise you that the world knows who you are, and the world needs that anointing that God has specially slated for the two of you. So again, thank you so much for being a guest right here on the Living Day by Day show.
Thank you for
having us.
Thank you for being here.
Well, guys, there you have it. Another amazing show. Last call. Stop by the LDBD, guys. That's the Living Day by Day show. And we're so excited. Of course, I'm your host, Lakeeba Wallace, alongside celebrity comedian Eric E. Love Jordan. Make sure you stop by our website, which is livingdaybyday.net. I'm excited to let you guys know that the cover of the July-August edition of the Living Day by Day magazine, film director, let me say that again, film director Alan M. Brooks is gracing the cover of the Living Day by Day magazine. So again, stop by our website, livingdaybyday.net. Until next time, be blessed. Bye, everybody.
Peace
out.
See you guys later.
Bye.